Hello, everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. Let's talk some football and nonsense. Happy Wednesday to you all. It is part 2 of our Christmas special because we do 3 shows a week here from the Fan Cave, and what better way to bring you home for the holidays than a 3-parter Christmas special. Last night we had the lovely, talented, and number enthusiast Cynthia Freeland from NFL Network. We talked about our least favorite gifts to get, what our do's and don'ts are for the Christmas holiday as far as gift giving and receiving. The naughty and nice list, some surprising names there. Tony Romo has made the nice list. That's right. His time at the CBS up in the booth with Jim Nantz has done him well. And I said that it was too bad that CBS wasn't the home for Super Bowl 52 because Tony Romo, his first time out of football, is his first time to the Super Bowl, but in a completely different way. And, you know, I don't know if he's going to win an Emmy or anything, but he's done a phenomenal job, and I did not see that one coming. We also discussed, how there are certain athletes that when they become analysts, it's like they become completely different people. We loved the athlete version, but we did not like what they became in the analyst version. And then for Tony Romo, it was almost the opposite. Obviously, as a Niners fan, him being a Cowboy, I like him a lot more now as an analyst, but he got a lot of grief, he got a lot, he was the butt end of several jokes, and now we get to see what was really going on in the mind of Tony Romo, and maybe it wasn't always him, so you kind of almost feel bad for all the negative things that you may or may not have said about good old Tony there. But either way, here we are. Great conversation with her last night, so go and check that out when you get a chance, because it was great conversation. She was a first-timer to the show, another name added to the list. Tonight we add yet another name to the ever-growing list of Fan Show, but not the list of Fan Show. This is the special guest alumni list, which has had quite... Oh, man, there are a lot of names on there that when I look back, and I had to remember, I had to go through old episodes to make sure that I wasn't missing anybody. When it comes to legitimate special guests, and a special guest is anybody that might be known outside of a certain small group. So there's former NFL players, actors, comedians, musical guests, things like that. And the list, it's good. It's a good list. And then, of course, I have the list of events and games that I've gone to and covered, and that list it's not as lengthy as the special guest one, but it's getting there, and that's because I didn't list every single event like I did every single guest. And so I think the list would be a lot longer had I listed each individual event or game that I've covered. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to pad my stats, as they call it. So tonight, Peter Avalon will join me at about 20 after the hour. He is a professional wrestler, and he was more than thrilled to come on the show and talk some wrestling and really anything else that comes up. We didn't discuss talking points, and those are usually my favorite interviews. But he was up in Alaska where Logan is. Logan, who used to have his own section on the site, Off Grid. With Logan, he would do some MMA write-ups. He has since become a father, and he was already a husband, so congratulations to Logan. He's a busy man, but he's hoping to get back into the swing of things. He went to this live event up there, not a WWE one, but one that they had wrestling, boxing, and some mixed martial arts, a variety show for hand-to-hand or one-on-one combat. And he met Peter up there, gave him my information, we connected, and yeah, it's... I'm excited for this interview. I am. He's a well-known as far as the indie circuit goes, so we will talk to him. But, of course, first, with every show, let's get through those headlines. Jacksonville Jaguars fans are a little nervous for this matchup against my 49ers this weekend, and I think that is well-earned and deserved on the part of the 49ers. I don't think it's anything negative to look at as far as the Jaguars. They respect game, and 49ers have it right now. They're 3-0 since Jimmy Garoppolo took the helm and started under center. And their biggest win to date has been over the Tennessee Titans, who Jaguars owe them a big thank you for that. What a lot of people, I believe, were calling an upset. I don't think there were a lot that thought that we could slow down the Titans. Now, the Titans are kind of back and forth, 50-50 here. You never really know what version of the Titans you're going to get. And that's sad because I picked them to be a very good team this year, one that could possibly take the South. If something happened to the Texans, but lo and behold, it is the Jaguars that are currently in the driver's seat. They control their own fate, even with a loss to the 49ers, and if the Titans were to win, that division will come down to the last game. So 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan said that they have as much qualities as anyone that it takes to win a Super Bowl. Top defense, a very good running game, a good offense, and good special teams. So clearly high praises for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who will visit the 49ers in Santa Clara at Levi Stadium this coming Sunday. Kickoff is at 1:05 Pacific time. Let's see here. A surprise setback for a Super Bowl contender. The Rams kicker Greg Zuerlein is being placed on IR with a back injury, and the team is signing former Penn State kicker Sam Ficken. That's not Craig the Leg. They have Greg the Leg, but I know Craig the Leg Peterson, and he should have been signed instead. Oh, silly NFL teams and blah, 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 blah. They don't listen to me. But hey, Seahawks, how's Blair Walsh working out for you, huh? Good, I would hope. Giants have interviewed former Panthers general manager Dave Gettleman for their GM job today. So there's some news as far as the openings that we have every time about this year. And then, of course, the list of coaches on the hot seat that will probably not last beyond the stroke of midnight after the last game has been played. Panthers linebacker Thomas Davis, his suspension reduced to 1 game upon appeal, and of course that was for that hit on Devontae Adams this last weekend. We all wondered what was going to happen with that. We know that yesterday Aaron Rodgers was placed on IR, and then Steelers have signed veteran running back Stephen Ridley. And the news that, or one of the headlines that we missed yesterday on the show, is the fact that the Panthers are going to be put up for sale at the end of the season. Now, this is surprising because normally when you sell a team, it's because an owner has some health issues, or maybe they're bored with it, or the team is not doing well. I don't know about the first two. Maybe the current owner is bored with it. Maybe he has some health issues, but the team is not doing bad. So whoever buys this, I mean, it's a classic buy low, sell high situation, because I believe he bought it in 93. They were not very good in 93. So he's going to get one hell of a return on his investment. Will they stay in Carolina? That's the big question right now, aside from if Diddy is going to get a chance to purchase the team or not. Could you imagine the production value for those home games if Diddy owned a team? And then he wants to bring Colin Kaepernick in to be his quarterback. I think he forgot about Cam Newton. There's a few celebrity names in the mix. Michael Jordan's one of them. Steph Curry, another. Both are eyeballing the Carolina Panthers. I don't know who's going to get it. I feel like we see a lot of the celebrity names at the forefront because they're celebrities, and then the people that end up getting them are businessmen that, if I was a fan, I would probably trust to run the team right, put the people in the right place, and bring home, a championship. Jed York as an owner, I don't like. I think that he finally has gotten over himself, and that's why he hired John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and locked him in for 6-year deals, and we're seeing that pay out decent right now. As I said, when a team hits damn near rock bottom, you're looking at progress the next year. They were 0-10 or 0-9, and then they have won one, and then they lost another, and then they've won 3 straight. So I'm optimistic about the future as long as he doesn't have his hands in a whole lot of it. Jerry Jones has too much he's too involved with the Cowboys. That's why people don't like him. Let your coaches coach and let your front office do front office. He's also the general manager, so that doesn't help. But, if a person could fire themselves, I believe that would be the perfect candidate for that particular situation. We have the list of Fan Show and a Butt Fumble Award to give out. And I think for the second time this year, they are the same thing, except for the Butt Fumble is one aspect and the list is another. So let's go ahead and we'll do the list first. Talked about it yesterday on the show, the fact that I compared the NFL or football in general to cigarettes, that it's addictive, it's cool, and the product basically sells itself, and it doesn't need a whole lot of help. And so you get these fantastic matchups like the Steelers and the Patriots. And I'm not even a fan of either team. I'm really not. But I will respect a great matchup in the regular season. One especially that means so much so late in the season, such similar records. We've seen schedule after schedule come out and we circle one in week like 12, 13, or 14 and we're like, that's going to be the game. And then when it comes time, it doesn't mean anything. Or it means a lot less than it does. Either one team has been eliminated from the playoffs and the other one is just playing to hold on to their current seed at 1 or 2, or it's neither of them are really in the picture, or they've gone completely opposite ways as far as record wise. So it's nice to have these matchups that you hope are going to be great up until the officiating has to step in and rear its ugly head and ruin pretty much the whole experience, because that's what happened in this game, is that it was a great game. It didn't need any help at all. And then the referees, the officiating crew, had to step in and give you a frame-by-frame, paragraph-by-paragraph, sentence-by-sentence, word-by-word breakdown of why Jesse James's catch for a touchdown wasn't even a complete catch. But yet in the explanation, he said he catches the ball, he extends it, but he doesn't survive the ground. So now, surviving the ground is the phrase that pays, because no one knows what the hell that even means. Nobody. And so, you know what happens, NFL officiating crew, when you have a great game and you come in and you ruin it, and when now everybody has to turn and look at each other like, what just happened? You know what happens, when people are now trying to figure out and Google and ask Alexa what the hell that surviving the ground means? Do you know what happens, officiating crew of the NFL? Do ya? You just made the list! That's right. The NFL officiating crew and NFL refs are no stranger to the Butt Fumble Award. They've gotten it more, probably as many times as Jay Cutler or the Browns. And, it's not a thing that I'm proud of. It's really, really not. And they deserve to be on the list. They really do. We've had some great items on the list. Anthony Barr, Tennessee. The NFL refs were already on the list. So now they're a 2-time on the list, but more specifically, the crew from the Sunday game that just, man, I don't know. I really don't. So, with the Butt Fumble Award then, no nominees needed. We know exactly. We go to Dallas, where is it a first down or is it not? And they pull out a what? An index card. So, without further ado, your week 15 Butt Fumble Award winner is Gene Steratore for using the index card to see if the Cowboys did in fact get a first down. And why? I have no idea, because there was plenty of space between the ball and the first down stick. But nonetheless, you stuck to your guns and you ruined what was otherwise another great game. So congratulations to the officiating crew and Gene Steratore for the index card use and this week's Butt Fumble winner. What do you do? Do you stop watching? I really want to ask everybody that boycotted, because Kaepernick, we've got 2 weeks left. Doesn't look like he's going to get signed. I can't recall, just because there hasn't been very much emphasis put on it lately, how many players are still kneeling. But I'd like to talk to the people that boycotted all season, just see how it was. What'd you do? Did you catch up on your Netflix? Did you try hockey? And I'm not dissing hockey at all. It's just, what did you do? What did you do without football in your life? Everybody else is talking. And did you really boycott? Really? Did you? I don't think you did. I think you snuck a peek every once in a while. It's all over social media. How could you not? It's in your face. You'd have to go and unfriend and block every single friend of yours that was not boycotting. And maybe you surround yourself and have a particular circle of people that would do just that would boycott with you. But man, any NFL or sports outlet page that you like, CBS Sports, Fox Sports, NBC Sports, any of those, you would have to almost literally live under a rock, that age-old expression. So I want to know how the boycott went for people. I really do. Tweet me at FanShowOfficial. You can email me to Richard at the Fan Show. The countdown to the indoor football season continues. National Arena League announced its schedule yesterday, as we discussed, so I've got some planning to do for Fan Show Tour 2018. You can support the tour by visiting teespring.com/thefanshow and get your Team Fan Show merchandise. Make a great gift for the holiday season. Get a hoodie or t-shirt for the fan in your life, and 10% goes to Toys for Tots. And then I get a cut that helps go to fund the tour, whether it be my flight, my rental car, or just my food or housing while I'm on the road. Fan Show Tour 2018 is going to be the best one yet. I'm very excited about it, but I would love any and all help that you can provide. The good people of Fan Nation, I love you all. Don't forget to like the Facebook page, facebook.com/FanShowOfficial, and follow along on the Instagram and Snapchat, The Fan Show. And your home base for all things football and nonsense, well, that's thefanshow.com. Got two great articles coming up later tonight. One by Connor Ferguson, breaking down the Vikings, their season right now, and what the last 2 weeks hold for them. And then from Omar Cook, who recently announced his retirement officially from the game of football. He likes coaching too much, and he's one of the guys that gets to do the motion capture for Madden, so that's pretty cool. He's part of Team Fan Show. He has an article that will be up tonight that the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are still the team to beat. It'll be an interesting read. I'm going to go and welcome my first guest, so don't go anywhere. We've got more of the Fan Show coming up after this.
This is The Sheet.
Gets me all revved up. My face is now red. My ears are just freaking boiling.
He's so raw that Sky hates him.
Yeah, he had 51 touchdowns, 4,900 total yards.
I know y'all like that, but I got to run. And only in Alabama that could happen, I have to say.
They're so good, man. They would win the Big Ten if they were in the Big Ten. You could be doing something vision-based in front of you and reach down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
Give it to him. Kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good, Johnny. I'm proud of you.
Wow. You guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. You ever had a bad week? You know, just you walk outside, step in a puddle, like right when you walk outside. I mean, how does a puddle right outside your house? Or you stand on the curb and somebody drives by and splashes water up on you? Or it's just raining on you, not anyone else?
I will tell you, before you go any further, I cannot hear Chad when he speaks. Good.
You're listening to The Sheet, man. I don't really know what we're doing.
Every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on WBLZ Sports.
Whether it be your industrial, commercial, or residential needs, Gen Service is the electrical contractor for you. The Gen Service team has the expertise, commitment, and educational years to help you solve all your electrical concerns. They have you in their best interest with helpful suggestions to accommodate your every want. Give them a call, no matter the size of the job, at 740-438-7173. Mention WBLZ Sports, and you'll get a discount. That's Gen Service, 740-438-7173.
This is Nick Ficarelli, the mad scientist of sports. Join me and Dr. D, Derek Jones, live every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific, for the Mad Scientist Sports Lab. The big intellect, the experiments on the chalkboard, and the guest subjects will be rolling in. Mad Scientist Sports Lab, only on WBLZ Sports, where we got balls.
Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. He has over 30 years of painting experience. He's interior, exterior, commercial, or residential. Doug Peffer covers it all. Is your house looking ugh? We'll call on Doug. Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing, 404-966-3361. Mention WBLZ Sports, and get a special We've Got Balls discount. That's Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361.
Check out Thursday Night Tailgate, where NFL legends live on. We bring you 5 NFL legends every week, sharing their stories and insights, plus our spotlight on the positive. Hear which players are doing great things in their communities. Now on WBLZ Sports Talk Radio and WBLZSports.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and joining me is a Fan Show first-timer making his debut. You may have seen him for a split second on SmackDown a few weeks ago, but it is professional wrestler Pete Avalon. How you doing tonight, Pete?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm doing very well.
Excellent. So I was curious, my friend Logan gave me your contact information after seeing you at like a mixed sort of variety event up in Alaska. But before that, you were on SmackDown against the Bludgeon Brothers. How does an event how does a booking like that happen? Like, do they reach out to you and say, hey, we're in the area, we'd like you to be in this squash match, it pays whatever, or is it just the opportunity to be on the SmackDown live stage?
Well, I was backstage for extra work, and they pulled me to the side and told me what they needed. They happened to pick me that day, so I had no idea what I was going to do. I went into that day not knowing anything, and then I found out that day.
Okay, so do you travel with WWE, or is it kind of like you meet up when your paths cross?
When they're here.
When they're here, okay.
They'll reach out to sometimes different people.
Gotcha. And was this your first time on one of the live events as far as the Raw or SmackDown?
I was on a previous as an EMT, and then this one in the actual match.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was always wondering how they do that, because people will recognize EMTs, security guards, cops, everything when it comes to, the Raw events or the SmackDown events. But then you were up in Alaska. So are you part of an official brand like a Ring of Honor or New Japan or anything, or is it pretty much all independent stuff? You get the booking and then you go and you perform and then you wait for the next one?
I am independent, but I also am a part of a brand. I am part of the United Wrestling Network. We're a network of television shows and different companies around the globe. Our flagship program is called Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. We're on the CW every Saturday at 7 a.m. All over the country. And we're on different other cable affiliates all over the country as well, if you're unable to get the CW. We're on the Fight Network, the Fight TV app. And we have a bunch of smaller programs, too. We have one that's based in Arizona called Championship Wrestling from Arizona. We also have our hand in the production of Combat Zone Wrestling and their web broadcast. So we're all over the place with United Wrestling, and then I also take other independent bookings outside of anything that isn't United.
Excellent. Well, we should have you up in Spokane sometime, because there's a lot of very hungry wrestling fans for more action and more events. But sounds like you're a busy man. What's your resume look like as far as places you've been, events you've worked, titles you've won? Like because it sounds like clearly you have your hand, involved in several things going on, and then they pick you when they're in town for other bigger events. But you keep busy, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. I've appeared on both WWE television and TNA television in San Diego, actually. I was with TNA for 6 months. And then I've held numerous titles. I was the longest reigning Hollywood Heritage Champion at 672 days.
Wow.
For championship wrestling from Hollywood. I've been all over the country. I've wrestled in Mexico. I wrestled for Combat Zone in Jersey. I was just in Chicago at Freelance Wrestling, which is one of our United Wrestling Network affiliates. I was just in Alaska, like you mentioned, for this combat event, martial arts and boxing and wrestling. And I got to be a part of some lucha libre in Mexico. And when I was with TNA, I got to tour different parts of the South and like Tennessee and Alabama and things like that.
Okay.
So I've been able to do a lot of cool stuff, and I'm glad to
awesome.
keep doing it. It's fun.
Yeah, no, please, by all means, keep doing your
And
thing.
then, yeah,
That's what I do.
With our Arizona broadcast, our Championship Wrestling from Arizona broadcast, I'm actually an executive producer of the show. So not only have I held numerous wrestling belts, I also have a television show.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So I'm gonna fanboy here for a little bit and ask you a couple of questions that are probably going to be very obvious. So first off, you mentioned that you've worked with both WWE and TNA, which are kind of the premier ones. A lot of us hoped for a while there that maybe TNA was going to put out a quality product where they would ignite the Monday Night Wars again, because that was such a unique and great time for television. It was the only time that that's ever happened in television, the Monday Night Wars between WCW and WWE. But do you have like a preference? And it's not just limited to those two. We can bring in Ring of Honor, New Japan, or anything like that. And on top of that, is there anything that stands out from one to the other as far as things that they do right, wrong, different?
Well, I have a bias towards our television program, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I think it's the best wrestling program, bar none, on television. We have the best storytelling and the best characters. I'll be honest, I don't watch Ring of Honor's television because I can't see it.
Oh.
TNA, if they stuck to a formula that was their own, then maybe they could have done something better.
Yeah, I can see that. And that's been sort of the common thing from a lot of the feedback that I hear from fans. Who's been your favorite guy to work with as far as on one of the larger brands like WWE, TNA, or so on?
EC3, probably of everybody I've gotten to work with, EC3 is probably my favorite. Out of the TNA and the WWE guys I've gotten to work with when I was there was probably EC3 for sure. He's a great guy, and had my back and was always trying to look for opportunities to keep them bringing me back. So I appreciate him, and he's a hell of a wrestler.
Who's on your list of guys that you'd really like to work with before you're all said and done?
Well, a lot of the current guys on television that they have would be great to get in there and tangle it up with, like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. I would like to have one more match with Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I think SmackDown has the better talent as far as guys not carrying the other for, if you're talking a 20-minute match, you don't have one guy carrying them for 15 and then the other guy comes back for 5. You see a lot of that on Raw, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, but SmackDown, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, they're a lot of 50-50 guys where, they don't have to carry somebody the whole time, but they can also lose really well. So yeah, they're masters of the craft. I can totally see that. So great choices there. When it comes to watching everything happen, and then you see something pop up like Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, is that is New Japan the right stage for that to happen? Like, is it going to be everything that people imagine it to be when it happens next month?
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say it absolutely lived up to their expectations, it exceeded their expectations, and then there's going to be people that say it sucked. So honestly, I think I think at the end of the day, it's in my opinion, I think it's pretty cool. But I think at the end of the day, it's good for the business because it's different and it's not the WWE doing it. It's someone else, and then it's getting similar attention that if the WWE did do it.
Yeah, I always worry sometimes about dream matches that we get on a WWE stage, because you worry if they're gonna add that WWE element to it, which is like you have this great matchup you have a great match, and then it gets ruined last minute by something. And some people like that, some people don't. I think more people don't like that than do, but I think New Japan is a great spot for it. Jericho loves Japan. He's done numerous tours over there. Kenny Omega obviously is their golden child. Do you think we'll see these two on a WWE stage?
If the money's right.
Very true. if the money's right. Well, all I want for Christmas is a full-time champion for WWE and to see them really utilize their talent. What's the least favorite Christmas gift that you've ever gotten, or the one Christmas gift that you hate to get each year?
Oh, man. That's a good question. Damn. I was having this conversation with someone the other day. I think the worst one I got was this really... It was like a bag that had like inside of it was a kit that was like a grooming kit, and then like a bag. So I think it was just like a gift you got once you bought something at like you know what I mean? Like if you spent enough money at like a Sears, you got this bag with like a grooming kit inside of it. And I just happened to get that free gift. And I remember the bag fell apart on me, and the grooming kit wasn't very good.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, thanks for the free gift that you got.
Don't you love that? I mean, I understand Secret Santas and you got to keep it $10 or less, or white elephant gift exchanges or whatnot. But when it comes to, somebody out of nowhere giving you a gift, like I love the idea, but sometimes it just needs to be left at the thought, because the follow through and the execution is very, you really, really shouldn't have.
Yeah. There's ways to do, like, you can have nice white elephant even with a limit. I've done the $10 limit, and I ended up getting someone Shawshank Redemption, nice DVD. So
hey, that's a classic. So that's
right.
That's the gift that keeps on giving. Oh yeah, fantastic.
I would have liked that.
So what's the one thing that you want? All you want for Christmas is blank.
Oh man, win the lottery. You can give me a winning California lottery ticket, I'll take it.
Yeah, what's that like down there? Because it seems like, because I know up here in Washington, it's, when it comes to the Washington lottery, they have all these ridiculous commercials and what you would do, because we don't have like a Hollywood, and we don't have a Los Angeles or anything. We have Seattle, and that's pretty much it. And those are, people that they're kind of one side of the spectrum. But in California, I mean, is there really a lot of people playing the lottery because they're not making it as actors?
Yeah, there's plenty of people playing it. The Powerball on a Wednesday when they do the numbers, they're ready.
Oh wow, I bet that's a sight. So you do your own company, and how involved do you have to be in that? Like, does it interfere with the bookings that you get, or the times that you get called to go to other events?
Well, thankfully with Arizona, it's a program that's under the United Wrestling Network. So we're an actual company. So we have a lot of people that can take care of other tasks as well. So I have my partner, and then we have other people that take care of other things too. So sometimes if I can't get to things, I'll have someone else to do it, and I'll be there. And I do end up revolving my schedule around our Championship Wrestling from Arizona and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood dates. So if I could fit the other dates in, I do.
Excellent. When did you know you wanted to be a pro wrestler? And if you could change anything about your journey, what points would you have done differently?
I knew I wanted to be, I was for sure going to do it when I was like 16, 17 in high school. I went to a PWG show, and I saw these other wrestlers I had never seen before that were smaller dudes doing cool shit. And I was like, all right, I think we'll do this. And if I could have, I probably would have, in high school as well, would have worked out and ate better and done more to get larger.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
It's I don't like there's a stereotype around wrestlers. We all hear that Vince has, his guys, the type that he thinks should be in the main event spotlight, but yet we get so many fantastic mid-card matches. I think Cesaro is one of the best pure athletes out there. And then, of course, you have guys that have come from all over the world, Shinsuke Nakamura, names like that. And Chris Jericho's been doing it for years and hasn't missed a beat. But, to say that there's a type, I don't buy it. I've never really been a fan of it, but I do think that it gets forced down our throats so much that it's hard to sort of side with somebody that doesn't have all those. So, I wish it wasn't the case, but I totally understand where you're coming from when you say that, you might have done things a little bit different in that category.
Yeah.
But
totally.
For me, the plan for me was to be a pro wrestler, and I think it was about at the same age that you decided. My friend and I had a car, he didn't. I would give him a ride home every day after school. We would wrestle on his trampoline. I don't know how we're alive today, or at least not crippled and handicapped, but we practiced wrestling moves and storylines on the trampoline. We would create characters, of course, on the Know Your Role or Shut Your Mouth or Here Comes the Pain, and then we had it all planned out. We were going to go down to Arizona. We were going to get into wrestling school while we went to one of the colleges there, and it was going to be like we were going to hit it big, and we had everything mapped out, and the plan was perfect. And then neither of us got into any of the big schools down there, so we had to settle for Eastern Washington up here. And then he went and joined the Navy, and then that was pretty much it. But I had a great character and everything figured out, and I think my goal now, because you see a guy like Will Ferrell who gets to pretty much do anything he wants because he's Will Ferrell. I'd like to be at some point a level of famous where I could go and wrestle in a legitimate match and win a title and just be a champion for a night, come out to a crowd and everything, and then vacate it and give it back, and that would be it. It doesn't even have to be WWE, any level really. I just want that, the music, the lights, going out there, because that was the dream at one point, but then things changed,
Yeah.
But obviously you're still living the dream, and you've got...
Still living it. Still trying my best. Still keeping that music going. Still thrilled to be walking through those, whether it's a curtain or it's down the steps of Hollywood with the lights and cameras in my face, so...
What's the next event you've got planned out?
We have both our Hollywood tapings next month, the 14th, and I believe the 28th. So it's the 2 Sundays, the 14th and the 28th. Our Championship Wrestling from Arizona taping in in Mesa, Arizona, at the Nile Theater, is on Saturday the 20th, January 20th. And then I also have Bar Wrestling on Thursday the 18th. Joey Ryan's Bar Wrestling. And then I'm a part of my first show of the year is on the 13th, January 13th. It's called Dungeon Championship Wrestling here in Van Nuys, California. So if anyone's nearby, follow my Twitter, and you can come see me punch people in the face.
Well, I know I have family in Arizona, and I went there and visited them last year, and they also have an indoor football team, the Rattlers, that I covered during that season. So I do plan on being in Phoenix again this spring and summertime. So hopefully when I'm there, there's an event going on, and we can hang out, and I can come check that out, because honestly, I love behind the scenes stuff, and I love the smaller, kind of the little guys that do all the hard work and heavy lifting. So if there's an event going on, I'd love to coordinate that and come and check everything out.
Absolutely, yeah. That'd be great if we can work out something when you're in Phoenix. I think you'll definitely like the show we have going on, and I definitely think you'll dig it. So that'd be cool.
Excellent. You can even put me through a table if you want.
Oh, I love it.
All right, he is Peter Avalon, professional wrestler, got one hell of a resume, numerous titles, and he is a guy that if you need him, he's there, working in Hollywood and Phoenix. So, Peter, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I do hope that you get all that you want for Christmas and so much more, but thank you again, and have a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Once again, that was Peter Avalon. Great talking to him. Always fun to get to know new people. I never know how these conversations are going to go when I book some of these. Obviously, the guys or gals that I see on NFL Network, it's like, oh, so that's what their voice sounds like, or that's what their personality's like. So I get them on the phone. The ice is kind of already broken, and then I go into, the whole thing about where do we want to go with this conversation. But there's some people that I've never heard their voice, and I've never really interacted with them until I get them on the phone for the interview for the show. So there's always kind of a bit of a nervous feeling in the pit of my stomach, but it's getting a lot better. The Joker last week, right? Mr. Arico, the sculptor, that was a great conversation that we had. And then some of the players and coaches in the indoor and arena leagues, those guys have all been a lot of fun. Peter, though, I knew he was going to have a great personality and be very open for conversation. So I appreciate Logan hooking that up, and I definitely want to come and check out one of Peter's events. So go in and follow him. He's at Avalon. He's got a great profile picture there. And then, of course, he is cunning, compelling, and charismatic, the biggest man in professional wrestling, part of the office at CWF Hollywood and CWF Arizona. So go follow him at Avalon, spelled just like it sounds. Thank you once again, Pete. So we're going to take our last commercial break of the evening before we put a nice fancy ribbon on this Christmas special part 2 of The Fan Show. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Fan Show, your home for all things football and nonsense. My special guest tonight, Farouk. Farouk, welcome.
He's no expert, but here's the thing. Football and nonsense is what he brings. Sports talk with a twist. It's The Fan Show!
Do you know him as Kevin from the League? It is none other than very funny Steve Ranazzisi.
99% of the population doesn't know who I am, but the 1% do. They yell and scream inappropriate things at me in public.
Kyle Ray. Kyle, welcome.
And I was like, wow, I think we just saw the whole Super Bowl, Phyllis. It was like that scene in The Simpsons, like, why rent the movie? I just saw the best part.
Funny man Brad Williams.
Yeah, I'm here. No, I flew in just for your podcast. I've heard about this podcast. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's Mac and Farva, but they are my special guests tonight. Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan.
I was in Mexico for 10 weeks in a Speedo. Like, that was me going to work. I was putting on a Speedo. Farva is the most fun to play, and it was a blast to do that again, to do Farva again. So then the makeup artist had to put Vaseline on your body, right? Yeah. And then put the powdered sugar on top of that. Is your name really Richard Siemens?
Listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night on Spreaker.com, or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. All right, we are back. A big thank you again to Peter Avalon, the professional wrestler, for being on the show. I do enjoy the episodes that we kind of go off script a little bit. Yeah, I had a bunch of questions for him as far as what it's like to be in that part of the industry. I talked to Charlotte Flair for 8 minutes when she was on, back when they were coming to Spokane. But I love these sit downs where there's not a time limit, and I'm not trying to take up all their time, but I do have questions. I do genuinely want to know this information. It's not just me trying to chew up as much of my episode as I can. I really am intrigued and interested in these people. That's why I invite them to be on the show. It's not like I'm just like, who's someone popular that everyone would tune in to hear me talk to. It's I see someone that interests me. I want to talk to them more about it. So I give them an invite to the show. I give them a platform. You either know them or you don't. Most times you have no clue who they are, and that's okay. Like I'm not upset about it. You guys give me the feedback, and you all enjoy the interviews and conversations I have on here more often than not, and that's what matters. But for me, these conversations, these interviews, it's, I think, better than any selfie or autograph that I could ever get. It's a conversation that only I'm having with them, and nobody can take that away from me. And for me, that's special. I would love to get a selfie with every one of my guests, and I think that's always fun because we always make a fun time out of it. But, if they're going to phone in like Pete did or when Charlotte Flair did, that's fine. But there is such a list of people that I think would have fantastic conversations with. I would hope that when I get them that there's not a time limit, that we could just talk and talk and talk. But Frank Caliendo, Chris Jericho, people like that, I think would be fantastic guests for the show. Frank Caliendo, just because he's a football fan and he does different impersonations, I'd want to talk to him, John Madden, and John Gruden. When it comes to Chris Jericho, he hosts a podcast himself, Talk is Jericho. Obviously, he understands what it is that I do. I think we could have a fantastic conversation. He's a wrestler, and he's one of the best ever in the world. Ever. So thank you again, Peter Avalon. Tomorrow, we do have a double feature for you. James Fuller, head coach of the Maine Mammoths out of the National Arena League. They are one of the 3 expansion teams, so we will talk to him. And then the Christmas special, part 3, will conclude with our annual visit from the Grinch. That's right. Very excited to have him on. I'll probably do fan versus fan show pick'em with James Fuller because the Grinch didn't really like that last year. It'll be a fun conversation, though. I'm excited for it. So should you. You should be excited for it as well. Last night on SmackDown, though, in case you missed it, there was a bit more fuel poured on the fire. That is the first ever Women's Royal Rumble that will happen next month. Charlotte Flair, being a champion, will not participate herself. She shared her thoughts on that because I think, obviously, Charlotte is someone who she's fine with being champion, but if she could be a part of that, it's almost like she's missing out on history, and it's not, and it's like in the best way, kind of. But it was a bit of kind of, a grounding moment when she said that, she'll be there anxiously awaiting the winner to defend her title. She's not going to be part of it, just like Alexa Bliss isn't. They will be there at the Royal Rumble. I'm curious to see who they get pitted against unless they forego the women's title matches altogether. I think that would probably be ideal because I've heard that the number for the women's Royal Rumble is 30 as well. I figured 20, but they have said that right now they're looking at a few surprise appearances from veterans, legends, and Hall of Famers. And then, of course, you've got a few call-ups left that you can do from NXT without completely depleting that pool. Or, you would bring them up, send them right back down. They have done that before. So, very exciting times in WWE. Last night had AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, or AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura in a 6-man tag match against Kevin Owens, Jinder Mahal, and Sami Zayn. And man, I tell you, AJ is just so good. So good. So is Sami. You've got these mixed tag team things going on Facebook. I don't know. I haven't really dove much into it. But Dolph Ziggler's promo, oh my goodness, was that amazing. Came out and he did a highlight reel of everything that he's done in his career. And a lot of people have probably forgot that he's a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion, a 5-time Intercontinental Champion, and now a 2-time U.S. title champion. He has won Mr. Money in the Bank, and he's been the sole survivor at Survivor Series not once but twice. And he basically just said, but you don't care and you don't deserve me. Laid the title in the middle of the ring and walked out. I mean, oh, it's so good. It's shades of CM Punk, dare I say. But it was good. It really was. Congratulations, Dolph Ziggler. I don't know if he really quit or what's going to happen next. Part of me loves that I don't know. But man, was that a good promo last night. Congratulations, Dolph Ziggler. Let's go ahead and check out around the world of sports. We'll take a quick look at hockey, see what we've got going on here as far as the standings. Vegas Knights, my Golden Knights, they've been doing pretty damn good. Let's take a look at the standings here. I want to say they won last night. I believe they did. So the standings for each division right now break down as follows for the NHL. In the Eastern, it is the Washington Capitals that lead 22-12, and then the New Jersey Devils 19-9. In the Atlantic, the Lightning 24-7. The Toronto Leafs are 21-13. In In the West, Nashville 21-8. St. Louis, those Blues. My Blues 22-11. And then in the Pacific, there is a new king, and it is a Knight. The Vegas Knights 22-9 over the Los Angeles Kings. How about that? 21-10. It is. I'm loving this hockey thing. I really am. And I haven't gotten to watch a lot of games in their entirety, but I'm excited about this. Both my teams are doing great. St. Louis Blues. And for those of you wondering, like, how are those your teams? Well, one, I love the opportunity to follow something or be a part of something when it's first, right? So the Golden Knights, the new expansion team, obviously they're doing very well, but no one knew that when the season started. It's not usually the case for expansion teams, but here Vegas has a hockey team. They are the Golden Knights, and I'm like, I'm going to follow these guys. I'm going to be a fan of the Golden Knights. I'm going to hop on before there's even a bandwagon, and we're going to ride this thing to Valhalla. But the Blues, I'm sorry, I know how it's going to sound. I love their logo. I really do. As a musician and as a guy who music is very much part of my life, that logo is phenomenal. So yeah, St. Louis Blues and the Vegas Golden Knights. Those are my teams, and I know they're in the same conference, so they could meet in the playoffs. I don't know. It's a win-win for me. They can't meet in the Stanley Cup, which is kind of sad, but it's okay. It's all right. It's going to be a great hockey season. NBA, I don't know. I don't really follow much basketball. I need to have Cynthia Freeland back on so that we could talk NBA. But LeVar Ball, I guess, is going to start his own league because it's what LeVar Ball does, I guess. Okay. He's starting a developmental league is what he's doing. It's a league for kids that are choosing to go from high school to not college. They don't want to go to college, which that's encouraging, I guess. Why wouldn't you want to go to college? I just don't understand it. There is life after sports, and I know that college athlete is such an oxymoron because there's very little academic stuff going on. But, you know, they're going to do what they're going to do. It's not unheard of to go straight from high school to the NBA and have a success story. Of course, we know who those people are. But what's next for LeVar Ball? Like, when is enough enough? I don't know. He's always in the headlines. He always is. But it's whatever. I saw something trending on Twitter that I wanted to take a look at. It was Earl Thomas. Of course, being in Washington, I get a lot of the Seattle trending stuff, so Earl Thomas. Let's see what we've got here. There's trade talks. Bobby Wagner admits he didn't handle Seahawks teammate Earl Thomas the right way. Let's see here. Earl Thomas keeps the spat with Bobby Wagner going. That was 5 minutes ago. Earl Thomas speaks on his Seattle Seahawks future. How did Bobby Wagner and Earl Thomas handle public feud? Seahawks offer differing accounts. Okay. Unfortunately, here's one tweet. Tom Giles. Unfortunately, I think it's Earl Thomas who might be leaving for more money. Both are great players. Another one from Christmas Trey. A guy who looks like Earl Thomas is playing ball at the gym, and I'm thinking about asking him if his name is Earl Thomas. Okay, that'll do it for that. Oh, hey, the Golden Knights community followed me on Twitter. That's cool. They must have been listening to the show. Excellent. So anyway, that will do it for our Wednesday edition of the F.A.N. Show. Again, big thank you to Peter. Sorry we didn't have more to talk about, but we did get through. We gave out Butt Fumble Award. We added another name to the list of F.A.N. Show. So we did everything that we need to do on a Wednesday. Tomorrow, not one, but two guests. You will not want to miss James Fuller, head coach of the Maine Mammoths, and the Grinch as we wrap up this holiday week and Christmas special part 3 to send it all home to the conclusion of that most wonderful time of the year. So thank you once again, everybody, for listening. Don't forget, if you missed any of tonight's episode, it is available in podcast form. You can subscribe at iTunes, SoundCloud, or iHeartRadio, where all great podcasts are found. You can also listen to replays if you download the WBLZ Sports app, and those air at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then, of course, your home base for Football and Nonsense, where you can listen live, thefanshow.com and Spreaker.com. Support The Fan Show. Visit teespring.com/thefanshow and order your Team Fan Show merch today. Donate that 10% to Toys for Tots. Make Christmas a little merrier for those less fortunate children. Meanwhile, I have to try my best to not adopt all the kittens and puppies during the holiday season because they've got my soft spot. But it's okay. It's okay. I live to fight another day. We've got 4 furries in the family, and that's enough for me right now. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Best of luck to you and yours. It is Fantasy Championship week for a lot of you. My wife is in the championship for the first time, and it's the first time that she's made it to the playoffs. So holy cow, how about that? She could win it all. So proud. Proud husband moment. So I mean it when I say best of luck to you and yours. Best of luck to my wife this weekend. And thank you all for listening, for smiling, laughing, participating, interacting. It is truly one of the best parts of my life. So I know that we're getting close to the end of the year, and I'll have a bunch of thank yous to give out. But until then, go Niners, and remember, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his one player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.